Hello, my name is Kate Spencer-Ellis and I am the head of sixth form. First, a very warm welcome to all of you, whether you have been at Forest since you were 4 or 11 years old, or whether this video here today is your first encounter with the school. I expect that you are all here because you recognise, as we do, the crucial importance of the final 2 years of compulsory education and want to find out what we have to offer here at Forest. I feel very proud and privileged to lead the sixth form here at Forest, alongside a very able team. A deputy head of sixth form, 2 assistant heads, an experienced and dedicated set of sixth form tutors, heads of house, as well as subject specialist teachers who simply love to teach A-level. I hope tonight that I and the students you hear from will be able to give you a sense of what life in the sixth form involves. I want you to consider your decision to apply or transition to the sixth form carefully, sure that we are a good fit for you and your aspirations, understanding what we do and why we do it. The sixth form is very much part of the wider Forest community and lives out the values of the whole school. The quintessential aspects of Forest are very much part of the sixth form identity. You will be part of a diverse community, pursuing excellence across many different areas, and you will be known, liked and valued. The DNA of Forest School is hardwired into the sixth form. However, there are features of the sixth form that are distinct. So much of what we do in the last 2 years of school is about setting you up for life beyond the white gates, ready to take on what the world has in store. For more information beyond today, you should consult and please keep to hand the purple sixth form prospectus, available in PDF form on the website. This is not only a glossy marketing document, it is really a handbook for transition between Year 11 and Year 12. I hope and expect that you will refer to it many times in the coming months. We operate an open door policy. If individuals or students or families want to find out more or have individual questions, get in touch. Mr. K, the Deputy Head of Sixth Form, and I are very happy to meet students and their families from Forest or any other school to discuss any aspect of their transition to the sixth form. So, what is this evening for? For all of you, I would hope to give you a sense of the character and ethos of the sixth form of Forest. I hope that you will leave this evening understanding our underlying principles. Unfortunately, this virtual event does not allow you to engage in person with our facilities, but you should know that our sixth form have exclusive use of the sixth form centre, which has been newly refurbished. I also hope that you will go away with a full understanding of our sixth form curriculum. In particular, I'd like to explain why all students do the EPQ and give you some advice about how to choose A-levels. I also want you to know about the extensive and expert support that all students in the sixth form get. I'd like to share with you the nature of the pastoral and co-curricular provision in the sixth form. And many of you will be here tonight because you want to find out more about the application process. There is one word which really sums up how we want you to be when you leave Forest: ready. The photograph you can see is from one of Forest's traditions, the Leavers event in the Warden's Garden. It shows students from Forest on the cusp of taking their A-levels, soon to walk out of the white gates for the last time. When you leave, we want you to do so exceptionally well qualified, with a strong sense of who you are, carrying values which enable you to be kind and fair-minded. To do that, you need more independence. You need help to make decisions, not decisions that are made for you. You need to learn how to think and not what to think. You will not only be participants in the life of the school, but leaders. It is an exciting and thrilling time. You will know that A-level reform has meant that schools and colleges have had to think hard about what they offer students in the sixth form. Our response is the Forest Diploma. The sixth form diploma is the sixth form curriculum. This is not something that we've made up from thin air. It came as a response to curriculum reforms which were released about 6 years ago. We have refined it considerably since. In designing the diploma, we consulted with a range of partners from higher education and from industry. At the core of the Forest Diploma, you will choose 3 A-levels, 4 if you choose to do further maths. These A-levels will occupy the bulk of your timetable, so substantial thought will go into choosing A-levels that match your aptitudes and your aspirations. And, this is probably the most important thing, your passions. One of the main purposes of this evening is to start your thinking process about choosing your A-levels. Some of you may have a sense of what your end game is. You are in the lucky position of knowing what you want to do when you grow up. In that case, it is important that you make A-level choices based on an informed sense of what subjects you will need to take at A-level. In the prospectus, you'll see a really helpful table which tells you which degree courses require which A-levels. There are other good ways of making these choices. Think about which lessons you enjoy most. Think about which homework you always do first. Think about the subjects which stimulate your intellectual curiosity and make you want to go beyond your specification. Do what you like, and dare I say it, remember that these are your A-level choices. While your teachers and parents are really good sources of advice, it is you that will be doing the subject for 11 or 12 periods of fortnight. After this talk, I hope that you will take the opportunity to get further information from heads of department, sixth form teachers, and students who already do the subject. Ask questions relentlessly and find out more. It is a good place to start making a really informed decision. There are also some tried and tested ways of making really bad decisions about your A-levels. Don't choose subjects exclusively based on how much you like your Year 11 teacher. Don't choose subjects based on what your friends are doing. And please don't make subject choices based on a misconception about what the subject is. We do know that making subject choices can be difficult. We offer lots of advice and support, including one-to-one careers interviews with all Year 11 students currently at Forest. You will also be doing an extended project qualification. This is an A-level standard qualification which you will do in Year 12 and is worth half an A-level. Last year, one of the highlights was listening to 5 students who had received full marks for their EPQ, presenting their projects to the sixth form. You can see the titles of the projects on your screen. It was an astonishing 90 minutes where students demonstrated deep knowledge on a wide range of topics. I was impressed by their reflections and the dexterous way in which these students were able to answer questions. We know that doing a piece of independent project work like this builds invaluable research skills and intellectual resilience, as well as cultivating a huge amount of satisfaction in students. We also know that universities like the fact that our students have had the opportunities to become experts on a topic and driven their own research. Here are some quotations on the slide from various universities about the EPQ. Beyond these quotations, I can tell you that because of their EPQs, many students, at least 40 last year, had their offers to top universities reduced. Students' A-levels and EPQs are valuable in and of themselves. The study skills, knowledge, and engagement with their subjects beyond the curriculum are a core part of the sixth form experience. But you and I both know that A-levels are also passports to the world of further education and employment. Students at A-level are held to rigorous academic standards, and in 2020, 78% of our students were awarded A-star to B grades. One of the things that I am proudest of is the quality and diversity of the destinations our young Old Foresters go on to. This doesn't happen by accident. This happens because of an exceptionally high-quality careers and higher education program, which enables students to discover and weigh opportunities, as well as supporting students with sometimes complex and highly competitive admissions processes. We have strong links with Old Foresters and other networks, which we tap into to ensure that our students have the edge on other candidates. For example, even during the pandemic, all prospective medics last term spent a Saturday being put through their paces by medical professionals to give them the best possible sense of what they had to do to secure places at medical school. If you know Forest at all, you will know that students participate in far more than simply the academic life of the school. During the sixth form, you will continue to experience and take part in the co-curricular. During a typical week in the sixth form, there are fixtures for students in a huge range of sports. If you're around the school, it is always alive with the sound of music, girls and boys participating and leading music of all types and genres. At lunchtime and after school, there are student-run societies such as a student-run Pride Sock and Amnesty International. This is a busy, buzzing place. Forest celebrates both academic and co-curricular success. If I look at students in the last year who achieved the top A-level results, they were also students who could be seen singing in choirs, running up and down pitches, and performing in plays. The diploma also emphasises the importance of community. We are keen that Forest is a school where pupils do not think that the world ends at the white gates. They need to be aware of the wider world and recognise, if it doesn't sound too lofty, that they are global citizens and not just Foresters. I am immensely proud at how proactively and thoughtfully students engage in difficult and thorny issues. It is a privilege to be part of the ongoing conversations about the Black Lives Matter movement with sixth form students. Sometimes we will bring the outside world to them. Every 2 weeks in the sixth form, there are lookout lectures where distinguished guests talk about their passion. For example, last year David Lammy MP spoke to Foresters, answering expertly poised questions and provoking lively debate. We want to teach students to listen to the world around them and to engage with what they hear critically. The community aspect of the diploma also takes the form of community action, serving the local community. I am delighted that our sixth formers are volunteering in old people's homes, at food banks, with disabled children. I believe that these experiences are mutually beneficial and potentially transformative. We also strongly believe that all sixth formers should have a real taste of the world of work. We do this through the Forest Internship Scheme, which makes extensive use of the Old Forester network, as well as other contacts, in order to make sure that students have experiences which give them insight into future careers. What makes the Forest Diploma unique is the way in which it gives time over to other aspects. In Year 12, all students take part in a competencies carousel, taught skills designed to prepare them for life beyond Forest. In 8-week blocks, they get taught professional studies, such as CV writing and interview technique, well-being, adult life skills, everything from cooking on a budget to applying for a student loan, and an 8-week course on mindfulness to give them a toolkit for coping with the inevitable stresses and strains of life. Over the next 2 years, students in Year 11 will grow intellectually, physically, and emotionally. We know that it will be busy, and we know too that it is absolutely vital that you are well supported in all you do. Whether it's working out how to balance your time between your netball commitments and your chapel walk choir practice, or in deciding which course to do at university. Our pastoral support is first class. All Year 12 and Year 13 students continue to be members of a house, a single gender group of around 80 students ranging from Year 7 to Year 13. Within that, you will also be members of a tutor group. We aim to provide you with gold standard pastoral care and academic support. We promise to listen to you, to advocate for you when necessary, and to work in partnership with you. There is also an extensive counselling provision for those who feel they need it. So by now, you may be thinking about how to get into Forest Sixth Form. Your first thought will be to qualification. Whether you are an internal or external applicant, there are qualifying grades that you must get. You must get a grade 4 in English and in maths, and you must also have at least 3 grade 7s and 3 grade 6s. It is also essential that you meet the GCSE requirements for the subject that you want to study at A-level. In terms of application, first of all, I should say that if you are in Year 11 of Forest and you want to transfer into sixth form, you don't actually have to do anything. But for internal and external candidates, we have adjusted our admissions process this year in the light of COVID-19 and in the full awareness that some candidates will have had a very disrupted 6 months. If you are an external candidate or an internal candidate who wants to be considered for a scholarship, you will need to sit our sixth form examination on Saturday the 14th of November. You will sit one compulsory critical thinking paper remotely, you will find an example online, and you will be asked to complete in your own time 2 mini essays which will ask you to reflect on aspects of your own development. Candidates who are successful in these exams and whose schools provide us with references which are favourable will be invited back for further interviews. Internal applicants will be asked back for scholarship interviews, and external applicants will be invited back for both fee-paying places and for scholarships. You will receive a letter detailing these arrangements. There are also awards for students who excel in the co-curricular. I'm now looking forward to talking to Ayana, Will and Jack. I want you to hear their authentic reflections on life in the sixth form. I would hope that whether you have been like Ayana and Will here since you were much younger, or if you're like Jack and you are looking to join Forest from another school, that you will find a home here at Forest Sixth Form. Hello, I am delighted to be talking to 3 current members of Year 13. I have Will here, I have Ayana and I have Jack. And we're going to have a brief conversation about their experience in Forest Sixth Form. So first of all, what's different about the sixth form compared to perhaps other aspects of Forest, Ayana?
I remember in Year 7, if I were to do a comparison of me in Year 7 and me now, I think in a good way, I've changed in a very good way, but in a very different way. I've become a lot more confident, and especially in lessons, I'm not afraid to ask questions. And I think the way that the sixth form's built, that you have small mixed classes, you can really get among your teachers on a more personal level and like build a good rapport with them, and that will help you kind of excel academically.
Will, what for you have been the key changes from the sixth form to the rest of the school?
I think kind of following on from what Ayana said, increased independence. Coming into the sixth form, you've got study periods, and so the onus is on you to begin to find out what you're interested in, what you want to dedicate that 50 minutes or 100 minutes to. And you have to motivate yourself to want to do well, not just to get the A level, but to go on and either go to university or get an apprenticeship, or you just have so many different options, and it's managing your time to find out what you want to do. And I think that's the opportunity that's given to all of us, which is great.
Jack, you joined us for the sixth form from another local school. What pulled you towards Forest?
Personally for me, playing sport was a big aspect of my move to Forest, but also coming to do 3 A levels, there was a big focus on my subjects themselves and being able to have the courses that I do, and they were the right courses for me to look for going to university and to look for going to the future. They were the best courses, and Forest has always been a good school, and it was the right option for me to come for my A levels.
Very briefly, could you each summarise just what you did for your EPQ, starting with Ayana?
So for my EPQ, I didn't do the conventional report. I did an artefact. So I did a documentary, and it was on global warming. So my question was, what are the most effective methods of addressing climate change? And yeah, it was really good.
Thank you. Jack, what did you do?
So coming from a state school, I looked at the inequalities within the education system, and so I focused on the myth of meritocracy. This was useful because I could explore some political matters as well as sociological matters as well.
Thank you. And Will?
My one was quite niche. I looked at a figure from the 15th century in Florence and tried to look at why he was so successful and got power so quickly.
Okay.
He's probably like a Renaissance Donald Trump.
Okay, brilliant.
Really enjoyed my EPQ because there was a lot of research, and I wouldn't say fell in love with reading, but I've never been a huge reader, but I really enjoyed reading around my subject, and there's such a variety of sources and materials of any subject. So it was great to read, and also being able to pick your own question. It's the first time you've really been able to do an extended project or piece of work on something that you want to do, and it's completely your choice. And I mean, just do it on what you want.
Thank you.
Great.
I think for me, because of the nature of my project, I was doing a documentary, so not only did I have to research, but I had to kind of learn how to edit. So for my HPQ, I did a documentary as well, so I kind of, through that, was able to learn the basics of using iMovie. I didn't do anything fancy, I just used iMovie on my laptop. But it's, depending on what you want to do, especially with an artifact, it's a lot of added work. I know someone was trying to do something with computer software or something, and he had to learn the mechanisms through that. So it's definitely time management, as Jack said, it's a really big thing, especially when you've got a lot of tests and a lot of commitments just to co-curriculars as well. It gives you the chance to be a lot more wise with your study periods and use them more effectively, I feel.
I think the thing that I found slightly challenging at first with the EPQ is looking at the different ways to approach a big block of writing, and I found that challenging because I didn't really know where to start, didn't know much about the subject, and just the process of doing it and knowing that, right, I'm going to get this wrong probably about 10 times, but on the 11th time I might get it right. Then you end up on something that you feel proud of doing, and then you've learned something, so if you end up doing an essay competition or something after, it just slots in a lot easier and you know the process, and I guess that's why universities like it.
Yeah, and they certainly do. So part of the diploma is also the competencies lessons in mindfulness and PDM and in decision making and professional skills and professional skills. Have there been any highlights of that programme that you particularly enjoyed? Maybe Will?
To be honest, I went into them not quite knowing what I would end up thinking by the end of it, but mindfulness over the summer, I tried to do mindfulness every morning, which if you'd asked me a year ago I wouldn't have thought. And learning about coaching for personal decision making was really, really useful to kind of talk through things with friends, and I think that's going to be quite useful going through A-levels because it's only going to get harder. Yeah. But it's a good coping mechanism, which is great.
I have to agree with Will on the mindfulness aspect. For me, that was my favourite part of the competencies, just because I never really, sometimes I would want to meditate at home, but I never really stuck to it in some kind of routine. So the fact I was able to do that every week, it kind of got me into a mindset of doing it more often. So now I have an app on my phone and I do it whenever I feel stressed.
Well, obviously mindfulness with Miss Spencer-Ellis was great, but the course or the rota was my very first lesson at Forest, and obviously being new in year 12, it was quite enjoyable to have quite a relaxed first lesson at school, and that was really where I made quite a lot of my friends in that class. And it was nice to have a relaxed lesson where you could kind of chat, and it wasn't so much focused, and because A-levels can be quite stressful at times, and there is a lot of work, and I mean I do a lot of writing and essay-based subjects, so just having like a bit of relax but still focusing on important issues with your friends and your classmates, you get to chat to them and like really reach out to new people.
So just picking up from that, Jack, you mentioned coming into a new school. How did you find the welcome, and in terms of how did you find settling down and fitting in?
I mean, I was quite relaxed about coming. I just thought what will happen, and kind of took each day as it came. And very quickly I made friends, and as you go around to your classes, you make friends in your classes, and then gradually as you play sport or do drama or whatever you do, you make more friends there. And everyone was so welcoming. Everyone's always like, oh, go and talk to the new people and be welcoming.
One of the things we'll all know about Forest is the focus on the whole student and the all-round education. In terms of the co-curricular, I wonder if you could each just summarise what you love doing outside of the classroom, maybe starting with Diana.
For me, it's got to be CCF. I joined in year 9, so that's when you can join. And CCF has honestly become a family to me. It's from year 9 up to year 13, so it's a really good mix of age groups. And the thing I like about co-curriculars is that it's mixed, but you can also make friends from different year groups.
I really enjoy playing music, and I think a great part of the school is the house music event that happens at the start of, just before the first half term. And so it's great to get to know everyone in your house. You get people that perhaps haven't played an instrument before that get put on the guitar or get put on the drums, or they might even be able to sing. But that's a fantastic opportunity because it's at the start of the year to get to know the new Year 7s and the new Year 12s who are coming in as well that want to get involved. But similarly, house drama is also great, and I think it's even more accessible because you don't really need no prerequisite skills that you need. You can just come in and, well, just talk on stage, and that was my highlight of the year despite coming last.
Oh, Jack, what have you enjoyed doing?
Definitely get tickets for house music. That's just a great way, and it's a great night. Even if you don't participate, go and support everyone else in the year and the sixth form and even the lower years. But mainly the sport facilities and the coaches have been excellent, and play as much as you can, play as many sports as you can, and it's a great release having so much sport during the school day on Monday and Wednesday, and then you have your matches on a Saturday morning. Such a great opportunity to enjoy the facilities here, and obviously the park round the corner. It's lovely, so play as much sport as you can.
If you had to describe the pastoral care at Forest, how would you describe it, Jack?
I mean, there's so many points of contact. I think that's what's great because, as Will said, like when you're doing so much work for personal statement and UCAS, I mean, you have your tutor and your house master, KSE, and then the subjects that you want. But you also, from a pastoral point of view, there's deputy head of pastoral who oversees it all, but there's so many people that you can go and see. And it's not all teachers as well. I mean, in Year 12, you have the opportunity to be a mentor for the lower years, but you can also go and see people in Year 13 and people in your own year. And now there's a lot more freedom in the sixth form. You kind of speak to people more, and from that point of view, you get a lot more support from your peers as well.
Anything that either of you two want to add about pastoral care?
I think it's brilliant. I think loads of teachers are really supportive, and especially with the sixth form team, coming into the sixth form, there are so many people that you can speak to, and I think there's definitely a culture of friends talking to other friends and teachers that will just help you get through really difficult situations, and I've seen it work time and time and time again. So yeah, I think that's a real strong point.
I hope what that's managed to do is to give you some insight into the very varied and rich lives of some sixth formers here at Forest.
Sixth form's just different.
You're more in charge of your own learning. You're allowed to, make your own decisions.
And you suddenly start feeling like, oh, I'm a little adult and I have responsibilities and I have to manage things.
The teachers as well, they tend to be more relaxed around you.
It's kind of more like a partnership rather than somebody stood at the front of a classroom telling you stuff.
The Forest Diploma and the EPQ has been a challenging experience.
More practical skills, how to cook, learning about managing money, student finance, that kind of thing. And that's really given us a sort of insight into the real world, life outside the white gates.
Doing fewer subjects in school also opens up lots of free time to foster new habits and take advantage of all your newfound independence.
Just being in the sixth form centre and surrounded by your friends, having a bit of a laugh, but kind of getting on with work when it needs to be done. I think that's definitely one of the highlights.
The sort of overall rounded experience of it all, being able to do so much extracurricular as well as my work.
I play my clarinet and I play my sax. It allows me to express myself in a way that isn't just through academics.
Once you get to A level, everything just expands and there's a whole new world that you didn't realise was actually there in front of you. That's what's so great about biology, being able to delve deeper and how intricate everything is. That really appeals to me, and hopefully I'll be able to study medicine.
I've always been really keen that everything should be really fair. So in Year 9 I set up the Amnesty International group. I never expected it to get to how big it is today.
Classics has now become one of my biggest interests, and that's kind of fed my interest in speech writing, particularly spoken language, has the power to change your mind in a way that nothing else can.
Being able to say that I'm deputy head boy now, that really has given me a boost in confidence.
I feel like I'm much more of my own person now than I was when I started.
It's been so influential in shaping who I am today.
I feel close to being ready to go out into the big world.
This place has made me so excited about everything I have to come, and that's what you get out of Forest.